They call me the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
I am the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor. I'm the Doctor.
I am the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
Greetings, humans, Daleks, Time Lords, and lone Cybermen. You're listening to Exterminating Doctor Who.
This is the show where we take Doctor Who's most popular episodes and debate if they're really as good as their reputations.
With your hosts, Aidan Gula.
And me, George Ellis.
And in today's episode, we are talking about the haunting of Villa Diodati.
I, in my notes, have referred to it as The Haunting because I could not translate that for the life of me. Villa Diodati? I can actually sing the entire thing lyric
Please
for lyric.
don't.
No, I won't, but I can. And like, it's concerning that I can like sing like when I say every lyric, I mean I don't miss a lyric. Like when it says dabba dee, I get it. Dabba die, I get it. It's concerning.
Quite sad.
Yeah, I mean, hey, have we? I think the listeners have established that George is the sad one on the podcast.
Yes, we shall come to that. No.
Next week, George's depression.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't seen this since first broadcast.
I've never seen.
You've
this.
never seen it. This is only the second time I saw it. In my memory, I remembered it being really, really good. It was my favourite Jodie Whittaker episode until Flux came along and went, here's two other great episodes. I was going, okay, now I'm going to bump you down to third. But I still did really, really enjoy it. I did write some negatives, of course, because it's in an era I hate. But overall, I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was good, but it's not amazing in a lot of parts for me. I find whenever I go into a Jodie episode, no matter what it is, I'm always going into it with this mindset.
Ugh.
Don't be shit, because it's like I know you're gonna be, but like if it's kind of good because when it does something which is mediocre, I'm there thinking, God, this is incredible. But it does mean whenever I see anyone and it's like, I don't know, right. For example, I see Ryan. He can say literally anything, and I want to kill him because there's no. But the thing is, it's like because I hate like elements of the Jodie era so much.
The Jodie area.
Because I hate parts of the Chibnall and the Chibnall era so much, like elements of it. When I see it again in any context, even if it's a good episode, I can't get past how much I hate it. So like even the companions, for the most part, apart from Ryan, were quite okay actually in this episode. I can see Graham had some really good lines, some nice moments. I still was sitting here thinking I would rather there were none of you and it was just the Doctor. Because I'll be honest, my standout moments for this episode, it's the Doctor as always. And it's again, I'd say with this, it's probably one of the best episodes I've seen of Jodie in terms of writing wise. Like her performance and how she's written. It felt very much a Doctor that I've seen and very much a continuation of one I've seen before.
Just
yeah.
interject before you carry on there. A reason, as we discovered when we did our Witchfinders episode, a common theme is a female writer.
Yes, it says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's... When I started watching this, I was like, it's interesting. Seems like okay writing. And then you told me it's written by the same person who wrote...
did Village of the Angels.
And I was like, so I was more into it then. But like very much Jodie, I think, is superb in this episode. And I think she has some brilliant moments. And she has a mean Doctor moment, an angry Doctor moment, which I think is quite rare for Jodie's Doctor, honestly. In terms of like getting a proper like... Rather than just anger for the sake of anger, it felt like this was earned and this was a proper kind of Doctor moment, I found. Really good. And then you also get the fascination and you get kind of the intrigue, you get a bit of the cockiness. It felt very much like the Doctor through and through in this episode, and I thought Jodie was excellent. That's thanks to Jodie's acting, but also the writing. Because obviously Jodie can't perform
if she hasn't got any
words
to
learn.
perform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I think the reason I really enjoyed it, because I love the tone of it. Like, because even though It annoys me a little. A couple of places we'll come on to this in a bit because we've got a little bit of news first.
Ooh.
But it annoys me in a little places because even the name is clearly supposed to be ripping off the Haunting series that are on Netflix, The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. It's clearly supposed to be doing that, and a lot of in places like the ghosts and stuff, the hidden ghosts in the background. That's what those shows do. It's be like, I see what you're doing, and Haunting of Hill House, I say to this day, is objectively the best series I've ever seen in my life.
I haven't actually ever seen it.
You should. It is. When I say, I'm not saying, because I say best and favourite. My favourite TV show ever is Doctor Who, but it could be shit. The best series I've ever seen, it was Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw Hill House, and I was like, Breaking Bad who? Hill House is just like, it is just
It's one of those things where I hear everyone talking about it, and I'm like,
there's one episode.
I'll maybe watch it.
Right. I know we have like a thing about one shots. There's one episode that is one shot for 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell the cuts. Like it's between two locations. There's clearly cuts because one's in a funeral home and one's in Hill House. And there's a bit when he like walks up a corridor in the funeral home. There's a bit of it gets a bit darker and he walks out into Hill House. And you're like, how the hell did you do that? It's incredible. Anyway, it's not the Hill House podcast. It's the Villa Diodati podcast. Where was I going at this point? Yeah, I love it tonally, even though sometimes I'm like, I see what you're riffing off here. It's one of my favourite ever uses of the Cybermen in New Who, at least. Yeah, in classic Who, I'm like, well, then we've got the 10th Planet, Tomb of the Cybermen, like all these other things. But in New Who, it's definitely like probably top 3 Cybermen uses. And then the Doctor, I think the reason that when I watched it at the time is because Series 12, people say, oh, Series 12 was such a improvement on Series 11. And I'm like,
it's all dire. It's all dire.
Like, is it?
It is all just, bleh.
But then it finally gets to this, like this one. What's this episode? Episode 8? And I'm like, oh, God, 8 weeks into this bloody series. When will it end? And then they do this episode and it's like, oh, hello, Doctor. I'm actually...
Took your time.
You're here. We've had 7 Dr. Light episodes, but finally you're here. And I think this is actually, even on Flux, which is the Flux, as I've said, was the series that kind of sold me on the 13th Doctor. I'm like, actually, I like you now. But even like hopping back to look at this, kind of probably with that context of what I saw happen afterwards, I'm kind of like, actually, you're much better than I even remember you being here as well. This is actually probably your best performance as the Doctor.
I was about to say exactly
here.
that. Yeah, I'd argue to say, like in Flux, I think Flux, it improves on a lot of things. Like the Doctor was like, but it improves on a lot. So it all feels better. But if you go back to this, I do think it is Jodie's, it's like arguably probably her best performance as the Doctor.
Because I think as well, it feels like the Doctor. She mentions Bill, not by name, but she is mentioning Bill twice. She's clearly got motivations from that. She's being commanding. She's being cheeky. She's doing the bit that even I was kind of I put it as a neutral point was when she kind of just licks the hand thing. Kind of thought I know that is David Tennant's thing, and this is just you being like, remember when David Tennant used to do this? But it's also being like, but the Doctor used to do that.
Yes, it's not that's an example of it's not one where it's like, oh, I'm just doing this for quirks. It's not like she tasted it and just went,
my 10th body would know what this is. If it was something like that, I'd be like, ugh.
She tasted it to figure out what it was, and she figured out what it was. It was used in exactly the same way Tennant would use it, and therefore just using the same kind of power.
Yeah, that's why I put it as neutral, because I was like,
it's a reference,
I was
but it's not.
I was like, you've annoyed me that you've done it, but I like that you did.
Yeah, to me, it's not a reference. To me, what it is it's just the Doctor using an ability the Doctor has, and it's kind of like when the Doctor uses kind of speaking to the door, like just like the mind stuff. It's like the Doctor can do that. I forgot that. It's that kind of reference. So I really like that.
Yeah, but as I said, I've got a lot to say about the Doctor, I think, so we'll come on to that in a bit.
Okay.
Firstly,
news.
Do you know, I'm on the way, if I wasn't running a bit late today, I was going to go to the shop and I was going to buy a party popper, because I was going to go, we have real news, and set off the party popper, but
everyone at home would have hated that, because it would have just been a big bang, and anyone watching would have thought it's quite underwhelming. So honestly, I'm quite glad you didn't get it.
Would have been a waste of money.
We would have had to clean it up.
But no, I'd have left it. And then people would have just come into the studio next to me, what the hell happened in here? But we've got Whittaker stuff, and we've also got some Matt Smith stuff. I'm going to do
Matt Smith stuff.
I'm going to do the Matt Smith stuff afterwards. It's less news, it's more things that are happening. But I'll do that afterwards. Firstly, Legend of the Sea Devils. the next episode has finally been confirmed to be the 17th of April, which we knew anyway.
17th of April. That's the day before I start filming. That'd be quite nice.
Yes. Well, we're going to...
Day for my dad's birthday as well.
As I've discussed, previous guest Daniel, we're going to be watching Legends of Sea Devils with him. And also we're going to be watching all 6 parts of their original appearance in John Pertwee's era beforehand.
You fucking what?
Because
you're making me do Classic Who again.
Yeah, well, you can show up for just Legends of the Sea Devils if you like. Where Daniel was like Daniel's saying, "I love the Sea Devils," and I was going, "Oh, what do you think of their original appearance?" He's going, "I've not seen it yet," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, how do you love them?"
That is like me saying, "I love Batman." What did you think of the animated series? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's like he said, "I love them." He's like, "I love them conceptually." I was like, "Okay, well, you need to watch them then." I was going because you need to see the Doctor beat the crap out of him. You need to see the Doctor have a sword fight with a master. You need to see him running through a minefield and he gets the sonic screwdriver and just blows mines up. This is the Doctor just...
I love how like that old school sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, you have to pull it down.
Hold
like
it
that.
upwards.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. I used to like the Peter Capaldi a lot of the time. He sees his Doctor holds it upwards.
Yeah, it's very...
And I always used to think, I think that's actually just Capaldi. He probably would have been running around as a child with things holding it upwards. So even when they've gone, Capaldi, no, point it. He's too much in muscle memory of being like that. So it's like, well, you're just pointing at the
It's very much
then,
like how Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, when they were on Star Wars, they used to go vroom, vroom.
Apparently everybody does that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Even Daisy Ridley apparently used to do that
cool.
as well. Just to go vroom. But no, we'll do it in afterwards. Okay. Vroom. No, afterwards. Vroom. Stop
Just
it.
put a mic on it. It'd be quite funny if all the sounds would like actually record.
Yeah. Vroom. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. So you can either... That's what I'm saying. Like, you can go, oh, Classic Who. But I think you like the 3rd Doctor probably even more than you like the 4th Doctor, to be honest. Because you're always like, why doesn't he just smack somebody? It's like, this is the Doctor who just goes, hi! And he just starts beating the Sea Devils up.
Okay, no, seriously, I'd be more than happy to join you and Daniel for that, definitely.
Good. You know, in most modern series, they see monsters running up a corridor, they go, run away! They blow out a door, they jump through. 3rd Doctor would just be like, rolling up his sleeves. He just go, right. And he just beats them up.
I
they're just
think
on the floor.
We should get
like,
the next series of Doctor Who should just be like Daredevil. Just there's a hallway
really
fight scene. Bloody
just...
knuckle.
He goes, oh, not doing that again, and then walks off. But yeah, just been confirmed as 17th of April, and we have a synopsis.
Ooh.
What made me laugh was I was listening to one of our old episodes recently because I was playing. I listened to the check the safe for Jake and listen to them.
I feel like we should put like in those breaking news things, just have something really quick at the bottom. Just terms and conditions. That's the one.
Well, like when you watch a news program, there's the headlines scrolling along the bottom of the screen, but it's just the same one on a loop. Yeah, but what made me laugh was it was just before Flux started, and we had I think 2 synopses to read. And I just kept going, why do these keep following the same structure? It's like going, on a desolate world, we have blah, blah, blah. Who is this? What is the flux? It's always like, on this thing, question, question, question. And
it's like writing a synopsis for beginners.
Yeah, and how I write the podcast descriptions as well, which was the joke. But it made me laugh that I came to read this, and guess what? It's in exactly the same structure. God. So they've clearly gotten exactly the same person to write exactly the same synopsis.
It's quite nice though, just knowing that one person is just like
is responsible for all of the synopses for all of this era. But yeah, here it is. In a swashbuckling special adventure, the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan come face to face. Oh no, I thought there was a typo, but I see what they've done there. Let's try that again. The Doctor, Yaz, and Dan come face to Finn with one of the Doctor's oldest adversaries, the Sea Devils. Why has legendary pirate queen Madam Ching come searching for a lost treasure? What terrifying forces lurk beneath the oceans of the 19th century? And did Yaz really have to dress Dan up as a pirate? What made me laugh is the second one there. What terrifying forces lurk beneath the oceans of the 19th century?
Ooh.
What's the Sea Devils?
What could it be underneath this ocean of terror? Haunted by the Sea Devils, this ocean is. What is in this ocean of Sea Devils?
Sea Devils.
What is here? No, what is here, Aidan? You don't know that the Sea Devils are here yet. But what could it be under the ocean where the Sea Devils...
Where is it going to be? Terrifying forces. It's the Sea Devils.
Within the Sea Devils' lair, there lies something terrifying, unknown to anyone. No, it's the Sea Devil.
Yeah, no, I know what it is. Yeah, that's made me laugh. But I quite like the pirate theme. I think it's going to work quite well, the Sea Devils, rather than just them hanging about on beaches like they are in the original appearance.
pirate theme. It'd be nice. Hope it's not
Yeah.
like cheesy. Hope it's like naturally.
Yeah, I hope it's not, because I think you risk doing the Curse of the Black Spot again,
Yeah.
which we don't talk about. And then even they've released some promo images, and one of them has Dan.
I saw like a pirate flag or
Dan.
something.
Well, they've released some promo images, and the Doctor's outfit is beautiful. She's got kind of like a quite oriental kind of
I haven't seen it.
costume on.
But I
It's
will
dead
Google it.
nice. Yaz's thing is nice as well. But then Dan's pirate costume looks like it's come from Love Your Babes or something. It looks like it's one of those like £5
Kinky costume.
pirate costumes. But then also, because it says, did Yaz really have to dress Dan up as a pirate? What I'm thinking is they've probably got that from the TARDIS, and it's deliberately
Probably supposed to look quite-
bad. Yeah, so that's actually, I think,
Bit of comic relief there.
yeah, probably to be like, oh, it's the only one we've got. And he's like, oh, I look like
Yeah.
look like I've come out of a fancy dress shop. I bet it would probably be
I
a
didn't know
line
Dan
like
lost his
that.
accent. I've come
What?
out of fancy dress shop.
Come out of fancy dress. Well, I would have attempted one, but there'd just be gob running down the walls, wouldn't there? So I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try doing that. Yeah, but I think it's quite exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to this one because I do like the Sea Devils. Well, they are just wet Silurians, but I do really like Sea Devils.
Soggy Silurians.
Yeah. I think they're cousins of that species or something.
Probably.
So.
Somewhere in Doctor
But then
Who
also, you know,
lore-
like the first episode that Silurians appeared in
Silurians are one with the masks, right?
New Who, yeah.
They freak me the fuck
Yeah.
out. Genuinely.
Well, who wrote that episode? Chris Chibnall.
Really?
And it's a good episode.
I was
So if he can do this Silurians, I have faith he can do Sea Devils.
same shit, different.
Because it's the same thing, but they're just underwater instead of underground. The only difference.
No.
So I'm looking forward to that because it sounds quite standalone.
Yeah, and I
It
feel
sounds it's standalone, it's historical, and it's bringing back classic monsters. They are tick 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 the best parts of Jodie Whittaker era.
like exactly, yeah. Like
So-
the Flux, even like within Flux, the best episodes in Flux are the ones that feel standalone.
Yeah.
And
That are also historicals, War of the Sontarans and Village of the Angels, that have returning monsters.
Exactly.
So it's like tick tick tick.
you've got your formula here.
If
do
those
it again.
three, if a Jodie Whittaker episode tends to have those, even Haunting of Villa Diodati does. Quite standalone. It does set up the other thing, but it is self-contained. Tick, historical. Tick, brings back an old foe. Tick. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. So it's
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for that. The other thing we have is, like I said, some Matt Smith and Karen Gillan stuff. It seems they've both heard about the 60th anniversary and they've decided, I want to be in that.
Ooh, I think I've heard that. Sorry, can I just?
What
right.
are you doing,
It's
man?
really like every time I put it up, it keeps going down. Just give me a second, because there you go. That's I can
Are
right.
you happy now?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yes. So it seems like they've decided they're going to embark on Operation Get Me in the 60th anniversary. So both of them have both made comments recently about, I would like to be in it, please.
I think I heard the Karen Gillan thing
What did you hear?
that she'd be happy to come back to Doctor Who. If they
Yeah,
asked
she was doing one of those, you know, those interviews where they do the Google search.
I like those ones. Yeah.
They take them off. Yeah, I was watching a David Byrne one the other day. She did one of those, and one of them was, will Karen Gillan come back to Doctor Who? And she said, I'd love to. She said, but I'd want to do it with Matt and Arthur.
That yes.
So I liked that she was like saying, yeah, because I've always thought Karen Gillan now
You're too big.
is one of those that has come from Doctor Who and has done really well. Probably one of the best out of all the cast, because it's like, if she's not in a Marvel film, she's in some jungle film with Dwayne Johnson. If she's not in that, she's doing some Netflix original. Like, she's got something going all the time. So I kind of thought, even if she would love to do it, I struggle to see where they'd fit it into her like calendar.
I'm
kind of
sure.
thing.
Like it's not.
But
that
I
big of a-
thought, but if she really wants to do it, she'll make room for it.
I'd make room for it because it's a thing that kind of, not like kind of made her name in a way.
Yeah,
So it's
she-
kind of like
nobody
she
knew
has
who
a
she was
fondness for it.
before.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the way that she was saying, yes, I would love to do it, we just think, okay, so if you're asked, you will do it. But she was like saying, but I'm not just going to come back for a glorified cameo. I want to do it with Matt and Arthur.
That's
and I
very
like
sweet.
that because it's like, you could just have Eleven and Amy, but she's like, no, I want the whole gang back together.
It's very sweet, and it just shows that she has a fondness not just for what the show was and what it did for her, but more she has a fondness for the people who were there with her.
Yeah.
And that's just incredibly sweet, and I love that, honestly. And I think it'd be amazing to have those three back. And by the time they come around, like if it is time for them to all come back for a moment, I will have hopefully actually watched all of Matt Smith's era and will know what's happening. Because
Well, I think
damn, am I confused sometimes.
like because there's that rumor that there's going to be 3 episodes with returning doctors. You could have, so one will be Ten and Donna, then you might get Capaldi back maybe. But I think
Would Capaldi be with a companion?
it depends. Well, who would you have?
Honestly, I'd just love him by himself.
I'd want Bill. Give me more Bill.
Yeah, out of all of them, give me Bill.
We've
Obviously,
only had the ones. I don't want him on his. I like him on his own, but we've only had one series of Bill.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
So it's like they could go. Oh, let's get Jenna. But it's like, oh, we've had enough of her.
Yeah, no.
So I'd want Bill. That's what I want. But that's the other one. So Ten and Donna, I think, is the guarantee. That's the one we will
Imagine
get.
you just fuck it up. Like you get Ten and Bill, Capaldi and Amy and Rory. And then you
Matt
get Matt
Smith with
Bill.
Donna, and he's like, "What the
with
hell?"
Donna, yeah.
Yeah.
Who that what?
But yeah. So I think that's the one. But if the second one was like 11th Doctor, Amy, Rory, and honestly, I think you could even tack River on the end of that, and I think that would be really fun to watch. So I'd like that. What's really nice as well, because that's obviously what Karen Gillan has said, and then Matt Smith has said something else. But I saw this earlier as well, and it just shows you that they are like still really good friends, which I really like. Because like I said, Karen Gillan's huge. If you were Karen Gillan, you don't need your Doctor Who people anymore. Well, I moved on. Don't need to talk to them. But what I liked was that Matt Smith, when he was asked to do Morbius, who was the first person he phoned? Karen Gillan. And he said to her, "What's it like doing a comic book movie? Have you had a nice time?" And she said, "Do it. Go for it." And he was like, "I trust her opinion because she's done 9 of them." So
she did Marvel.
Well, she did the MCU and he's got
Sony,
Morbius,
yeah.
which is then what leads me to the thing that Matt Smith has now said. He was doing a Q&A promoting Morbius. He looked a bit old in it, actually. I was looking at him thinking, oh, it's not good lighting.
It's got to be bad lighting because, hell, I watched last night in Soho like 2 days ago, actually, and I'm like, cleans up really well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a little bit in this. I thought, Jesus, he can't show up looking like the Doctor like that.
The Doctor.
But yeah, there was Q&A promoting that, and they asked him, would you rather come back to Doctor Who or do Morbius? But the thing that was
immediately Doctor Who.
The question that I really like, because he was kind of like, they said, would you rather? Then they said, would you rather do a Morbius sequel with Jared Leto again? And he was kind of like, Then he went, or would you rather come back to Doctor Who? And he kind of thought, oh. Then the bit when his face really turned is when they went, would you rather come back to Doctor Who with Karen? And as he said with Karen, he kind of went, like dead happily.
Aww.
Was just like, would I rather come back to Doctor Who? Not sure. With Karen, yes. I like that. I like that they are still really good friends.
It shows kind of the family element in a way, and
so
how it's, yeah.
I kind of think, like, in all this time, I was going, well, is David Tennant coming back? It's kind of like, yes. I don't think we even need to question that. I don't think David Tennant's going to be the one going, no. And that'd be a real surprise turn of events if he was like, no, actually. I think that's like that one we can tick. But it's like, really...
You can tick that one even if David Tennant actually came out and said no.
Yeah. And also because he's like come back before, and it's kind of a bit like, whatever. He's kind of doing, this is going to be great to bring him back, whatever. But he's done an episode coming back.
We've had him come back.
And he's doing Big Finish all the time. The ones that have not come back are Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. So if they were the ones you can get, they're the ones that are more exciting to me.
Like, out of all of them, which one do I need to come back? It's Tennant.
Yeah.
Like, I need him for me because he's like my doctor. But it's like, which is more of a feat? It's Matt and Capaldi. It's like spoilers for No Way Home. It's kind of like that thing. Like, in a way, like, you're gonna get Tom Holland, David Tennant. You're gonna get that. But if you get Toby and Andrew, Matt and Capaldi, you're doing something like extra special there.
Yeah.
So they're all great, but you're just getting something difficult.
I just had a thought. We'll wrap this up. We'll go on to his haunting in a moment.
You struggling?
But I just had a moment. If this rumor is correct that we're going to have like three episodes of like these Doctor's eras, so say then we have a fourth. So I would love those 3 episodes. Yes, I also like what Big Finish does a lot is they do like trilogies of stories, each one with a different Doctor, and it's kind of like, this Doctor dealt with this thing in their time, but it wasn't quite formed yet. Then this Doctor dealt with a bit more of it in their time, and it still was like, oh, what's going on? And then the final Doctor kind of wrapped it all up, that kind of thing. Big Finish do that a lot. And I think what they could be doing is they could do that. David Tennant comes across something. You can't quite defeat it. And then it comes back again in Matt Smith's ear, and he's like, "Right, I've seen this before. What is this?" He gets closer
because he's experienced that before.
Yeah, and then Capaldi finally goes, "Right, I've had this. I know what to do. This, let's do it." And he gets it done. And it's defeated. They could easily do that, but the thing I'm still. It wouldn't. They'd be great. They would. But the thing that would feel like the 60th anniversary to me, an event, is the Doctors coming together. I kind of need a multi-Doctor.
Yeah.
That's how I feel personally.
I feel like what they could do is you could have that to a point, and then how you could have them come together at the end in a way.
What I was about to say, you could have. What I was about to say was you could have 3 episodes of that: Tennant era stuff, Matt Smith era stuff, Capaldi era stuff. 4th episode, everybody together. And I thought that would really work. But the reason I just got excited, and because we've had this conversation before.
I love how we do this. We get
the
excited
reason
about
I've just gone, there is a really tiny 30-second thing. The reason I've just got excited is because I thought, Tennant episode comes on. It's the Tennant titles.
Right, you can see it.
Do you know what I mean? That's what's just hit me.
Fuck me.
And it's like, I don't know what it's called. Journey into the Unknown, Part 1, written by Russell T Davies in the
proper
titles.
Yeah.
Come to the next one. It's the Matt Smith opening titles. Journey into the Unknown, Part 2, written by Russell T Davies in that font. Final one, the Capaldi titles, written by Russell T Davies.
Can I make a request to Russell T Davies here? If you do the Capaldi titles, please can we have the heavy metal, like the rock?
Yeah, do that one
the
again.
proper rock
and
one.
actually put it in time this time, because if you actually watch all the Capaldi intros, you notice the themes laid up differently in every single one. I am wrapping up now.
Yes.
I swear. It's just a way of capturing people just that bit more.
And you can kind of clean up the effects in a way. You can kind of make it proper HD. You can make it just look really, really nice. So it looks clean, but it's the same that you've seen.
Rhymes. You're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Do you know who else is a poet?
Deborah.
Lord Byron, and he was in this episode. So there's a segue. Yes, he's the main guy that she's having beef with.
I'm being fucking. I'm trying to derail.
Yes, we've had our general thoughts.
Yes.
So I think overall, where do you want to hop in?
We could start just to have the cold open, honestly, because it's very kind of separate to the rest of the episode.
But still. Sorry, I just said but there.
Okay?
I could hear it peaking in real time. That was really weird. But my levels are completely fine. I looked at the file, it's fine. I'm still within the bars. But I just thought it would like go, and it was dead loud. But it is separate. But it sets up the. They've got one night to write a ghost story, which isn't technically historically accurate.
It felt weird.
They actually had 3 nights, not 1 night. But imagine trying to write Frankenstein in 1 night. It's a bit much.
And they didn't even write Frankenstein in that night. She just got inspired by it.
Yeah. But the original idea was that they all like to write ghost stories, and she wrote the formation of Frankenstein in that 3 nights. So I guess she won the competition, because we don't know what else is written. Do you know any other books that were written on that night? No. So Mary Shelley wins.
Do I really know much about books? No.
Well, there's the point.
There you.
If we know about Frankenstein, yes, because of films, but that's not the point. Maybe the others wrote really famous books, but they're not made in films. We just don't know what they are. But so they set that up. Creepy tone. Creepy tone's pretty consistent from then on out. Mr. Bean's holiday guy shows up. Made me laugh. Completely forgot he was in this episode. I was like, aren't you that kid? But yeah, I really liked. Like, they're just setting up the atmosphere. It felt really kind of like, oh, I'm in. You've got me. You've captured my attention. And then kind of, as soon as you hear that knocking, you know it's going to be the Doctor, I think.
Immediately.
Like, I really
like... The amount of times in Doctor Who there's been a moment like, it's scary. Who could that be? And it's like, you're trying to make us think it's the monster, and every time it is the Doctor.
Well,
every time.
I think they're kind of trying to think, you know it's going to be the Doctor, but it reminded me of the moment in Knock Knock. You know, when they're in the kitchen. It's dead creepy, and they go, "What's in the cupboard?" They open the cupboard, and Capaldi says, "Like, oh, you know that bit." It reminded me of that, because I like as they open the door, they scream, and the Doctor screams as well, and everybody's like, "Ah!" And then I like when the Doctor afterwards goes, "I know we don't look our best, but there's no need to scream." I like that bit. I just kind of really, just the cold open just sold me. And
it's a good cold open.
I was like, "I'm in. I'm with you.
It's very
let's go."
Doctor
and then,
Who,
I thought, right, let's get past this.
Yeah.
And then, right, I'm back in.
At this point, I do like skip the opening titles a little bit. I'm like, play. So I'm like, I've skipped like 30 seconds of it because it's so shit. And I know I hark on about this every fucking time we do a Jodie episode, but the opening titles are so shit. Like, so shit. And this isn't me like being, oh, I don't like a different titles. I love Paul McGann's title. Fucking incredible. Jodie's, it's shit. It just is shit. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It makes me feel unwell. I feel like I'm going to vomit when I see it. It's like I'm on a shit acid trip and I've never even been on acid, but somehow I'm able to get that feeling of a bad trip. It's bad.
After the titles are done, I like the doc. It's one of those times I'm like, I'm with you, I'm in. And I was saying this to you that there's that shot with like you can just kind of cut Ryan out of this shot. And as I'm looking at just Yaz, the Doctor, and Graham, I'm like, yes,
they do. Yeah,
I'm with you. Like, I like this. I like the Doctor has some great lines. I like we should get psychic paper. I was like, oh, maybe it's just a bit soggy. I kind of like that. Yaz says something that's quite. I'm with you that you said I don't like that all four of them have to have a line. That did bother me. I'm like, you don't all need to say something. That is a bit annoying. But I liked that the Yaz speaks first, and I like that when she speaks, she's trying to be a bit Victorian. She's all like, "Can we come in from the rain, my good sir?" She's kind of talking like that a bit.
But it
and I'm kind of like, I'm with you. Graham's trying to be all like, our stagecoach was parked a little far away, and he's trying to be like, he was trying to be
forthwith been lost.
He was using like big words. I like later on. I think he says something like "your ladyeth" or something like that. He tries to be like a bit like really posh, and I like
far. That's very reminds me a lot of Rose actually, when she's done that before.
Yeah, or like Donna when she's all like top of the morning. What? The Doctor's like, yeah.
Oh god, I love that bit where it's just like, no, just no.
Please don't do that. But I like Graham kind of going like Yaz is there in the middle. She's about right. Graham goes too far, and then I get you could say, well, Ryan doesn't quite get it right, but the way Ryan says it, it just is like bad. He's like, can we come in from the rain? It's a bit wet, and it's like,
please,
and it's like, you've lost the vibe. You had a vibe. The Doctor was like going, we are travellers. Here's my identification. Like, can we come in from the rain? He's trying to be all like, ha 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 ha. He's trying to be all like that. I'm with you, and then you break it for me. The second Ryan opens his mouth. And this is where we're going to start, clearly. We're going to start with Ryan. Because I'm like, I agree. 3 companions, far too many. We've said this in every single Jodie Whittaker episode we've done. Flux works because you've got 2 companions. 2 companions can work. That's fine. Yaz shows that she can actually be quite good when she's paired with somebody else. And I do think she has some good moments in here as well. Graham, I always liked. I know you're not fussed, but I do like Graham.
Oh, he's not a mate. Like I'd rather it would just like Yaz and the Doctor, but he's bearable.
Yeah,
you know.
But just there were so many times in this episode, Ryan would just speak, and I just go, "Shut up, man! Don't care." There's the only time I liked Ryan in this episode is when he's playing chopsticks on the piano, and the reason I liked that is because he reminded me of because he's trying to be like I don't listen, I don't pay attention, I don't do this kind of thing. I went to school with a lot of people like that. And it kind of reminds me, whenever we had music lessons, those kind of people would always just go, dun, 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 dun. And it just reminded me of that. I thought, okay, that is actually true to his character. That's accurate. You remind me of people I went to school with there. So I liked that moment. Second he stops playing, he goes, my nan taught me how to do that. My nan. I'm going,
it's a broken record.
And as I was there, I was going, stop going on about your fucking nan. And I was thinking, clearly, your nan, every single fucking episode, you go on about your nan. And I thought, clearly, she's the more interesting character. But why did we
That's a fair point, actually.
Why did we go kill her off in episode 1? Kill Ryan off. And then let's travel with the nan. Because the nan is so interesting. You go on about her every 5 minutes. But what do you provide, Ryan? And I just thought, like, you've got the wrong character.
I don't know if I wrote this down. It doesn't really matter if I did or not because, God, I've only got like a page and a half of notes here.
Good, we've only got 40 minutes left to record, so let's go.
No, but like with Ryan, I remember like sending you a video and I just said to Aidan, every single time I see Ryan, I tell him to go fuck himself, even when he doesn't say anything, because he adds this element of just boredom to the thing.
Yeah.
With the character within the show being bored. Doesn't matter why it is, if it's the actor, if it's the writing, doesn't matter what it is. Something went wrong there. And by having that, all that does when I'm watching it is it makes me feel bored. Because if your characters aren't interested to even be in the world they're fucking in, when I'm watching it, why the hell am I going to want to enjoy it? That's like me watching shit. It's like when you're in school, you watch someone do a presentation, you're watching that shit, and they're bored out of their fucking mind. You fall asleep too. If someone is bored about what they're doing, it's fucking boring. And Ryan's character is bored to fucking breathe.
I mean, it was kind of like, it just shows that you have got two, because you've got
way too many.
You've got Doctor, companions, guest cast, and he was just completely surplus to requirement.
A lot of people
completely unnecessary. The bit I thought really just kind of exemplified the fact that he just has like nothing to do is after all the stuff with all the rooms, which I do really like. I really like the way the rooms are all turning around. It's really well done. Favorite one is when they come down the stairs and it pans and they come out the top again. I'm going, I don't know how you did that, because where is the cut? I can't see it. What was the moment? Because they walk. It's not like it turns, stops, and then they come. So you go, well, that stop was the cut. It turns and they walk out while it still turns. That's really well done. Well done.
I like to think someone late to the top of the stairs.
Whoever the director is there. Or there's like a slide that takes them up or something. But
yes, a slide that takes them up.
After, well, you could with enough. I really liked that. I really liked that moment. And then after all that moment, everybody's trapped in a different room. And then Ryan just goes, "It's like a maze that keeps changing." He's like, "Yes, Ryan, it is. We've established that. You don't need to say it." And I just thought, that was the moment I kind of thought, you are completely unnecessary here.
I feel like Ryan's addition is because they couldn't be bothered to actually do audio description. They decided to just cast Ryan.
Well, it's another,
because he says exactly what's happening.
This is a point.
Every time.
This point comes later on. It's actually Yaz says it, but it's that thing I said again. We said it in Rosa, where I say the Chibnall era is written for the blind. Because it's just like in Rosa, there's the bit, there is a thing there. Shall we go to it? We are walking towards it. We are opening it now. We can see what's inside it. Here is everything that is inside it in its correct dimensions. It's like, don't need that. And the moment that I thought here was really like the point I was going, look, you've done it again, is the bit where the Cyberium comes out of Shelley's mouth. And second, we can see this big effect as the Cyberium is coming out of his mouth. Yaz just goes, Cyberium is leaving him. I thought, yes, it is. I can see. Everybody in this room can see the Cyberium floating out his mouth. You do not need to stand there, Yaz, and go, oh, Cyberium's leaving him.
Feels a lot like that was written before they remembered they had post-production.
Yeah.
Like that was written very much for an onset.
Yes, to the right again. How do I show that it's leaving his body? I'll just say that it's leaving his body. And then the FX team have gone, yeah, but we're showing that it's leaving his body. It's like...
the line's in the script. Do it, damn it.
Like, shall we cut it? No, leave it in. Well, it's just like... That's just like, stop saying things I can see. There's no need. The other one, right? The only other one. There were 3 in this episode that I didn't like. It was it's like a maze that keeps changing. I don't know why I do a Brummie accent. But he's like, it's like a maze that keeps changing. And I thought, yeah, Ryan, I can see that. It was the Siberian's leaving body. The other one. The bit I didn't like that I thought was too on the nose is because early in the series, Captain Jack obviously appears and he goes, beware the lone Cyberman. Don't give it what it wants. Then he vanishes. And then the bit that I thought was just too on the nose is when the Cyberman appears and the Doctor goes, oh, it's a lone Cyberman. And I thought that's just you going, it's lone, it's a Cyberman. That's the thing you've been looking out for. And I think that's a bit too on the nose. Could have just gone, it's a Cyberman. And then we go, oh, it's on its own, it's alone. Boom, we've worked out in our head. You don't need to say it's a lone Cyberman. Remember, guys, lone. You know, you don't need, they were the 3 that I just thought, yes, I can see that. You don't need to say it. The only bits they don't. But going back.
I can maybe excuse the last one because it is kind of like, how many weeks ago was that said?
3.
Okay, can't really excuse it anymore. Never mind. But it's a lot of this whole, what's happening? This is happening. How's it happening? This is how it's happening. Where are we? It's the fucking explain. It's like when you're in an exam. Explain to me. Explain to me why this is happening, how it occurred, and where. Like I'm like, you don't need to. I'm seeing it. It's very annoying, but it's something, honestly, it's bearable, I find.
It just bothers me. I'm like, because I always listen, dialogue is the thing I just listen out to all the time. And I think you don't need to do that. My other thing with Ryan that I didn't like was the Doctor is rude to Byron all the way through. And I like that because
Byron's a bit of an arse.
Because he's a bit of an arse, and it's not like it's just out of nowhere, especially because the Doctor opens that door and he's there rolling around with the women and messing around when they should be paying attention. She's like, right, I've had enough of you, Byron. And he's like, all these things, I kind of like that. I like that she's being rude to him. Ryan also has a rude moment, but it's completely unnecessary. It's the bit where Mr. Bean guy comes up to him. And he just goes, you look like death. And I'm like going, why did you just say that?
This shit pisses me off so fucking much. Where is it? Where are you? Fucking, I've written here, he starts a fight and then he's shocked that a fight happens.
Yeah.
He says to the guy, you look like death. And he's proper fucking mean to him. And he's like really like aggressive. Mr. Bean I forget his name. Mr. Bean cast member stands up and is annoyed by the fact. And I'm standing here thinking, because Ryan, you've just been a dick to this.
Completely unnecessary.
This person has invited you into, like, you're a guest in this place. They're also kind of maybe, I don't know, do they all live here? Maybe. But no matter what, Ryan, you're a guest tonight at the very least to them. You've come in and now I'm hiccuping because I'm so angry. You've been a dick to fucking
Mr. Bean
for no reason, and then you're shocked by that.
Because I thought you've got.
And then everyone gets annoyed at him saying, "Oh, he's like this." I'm like, so he sleepwalks. He doesn't sleep well. He's going through quite a lot of shit. You don't? Okay, fine. Some people.
Are you okay? You don't look very well.
I understand. Yes, done. That's the nice thing. But also, I can understand some people don't like to kind of do the eggshells thing, where it's like, okay, fair enough. You don't want to do eggshells around someone. It'd be nice, but it's okay. But you don't have to go out of your way to then be a dick. You just don't have to address it at all.
Yeah.
But instead, Ryan goes out of his way to be a dick, starts a fight, and then is shocked by the fight.
In the worst possible way. And I just thought, like,
where did that come from?
Well, I think like the Doctor is being rude. Makes sense. I thought you've even got, like, you can say past companions. Donna is rude to people at times, like when turn left and she goes, "Oh, you don't get lippy with me, Vera Duckworth," just stuff like that. But it's after she's responding to somebody in aggression. Somebody shouted at her, so she shouts back. Some monster does something, like the bit where she's been sacrificed to the Pyrovilles, and it's like going, it's like surrender and we will kill you. And she's like, I'll surrender you in a minute. It's like things like that. She's being rude, she's shouting at them, but it's when she's under threat. They make sense. Ryan is just playing chopsticks on the piano. That's all he's doing. And then he stands up and he goes, "You look like shit. What's wrong with you?" And it's like, what? And then the guy stands up. He's like, "I challenge you to duel." And he's like, "Hey, what did I do wrong?" It's like, actually, no, shoot Ryan in the head, actually. Thank you very much. Don't be like, I was just really just like, Ryan, you are not achieving anything in this situation. You do not need to be here. Piss off.
So yeah, just to summarize, Ryan in this is fucking annoying. And to me, I just find he's the worst of the fam. First of all, I hate the fam. But it's like, I found Graham had some good moments in this, bearable. Yaz had some.
Graham does, yeah. I do quite like Graham. I like Yaz a couple of times. Because it's that kind of thing where it's stuff that probably went over my head when I really saw this. But then now, because I've seen what happens to her in Flux, I can go back and be like, were there any of those elements here? And there are some. I like the bit where Yaz says something. Well, I've got it here somewhere. Yaz says, when the Doctor told us to wait, and she goes, "Well, technically, she just told us not to follow." And I kind of like that. It's like, yeah, be proactive.
That's very companion, though, isn't it? Just complete like, she said
technically, she just said don't follow us. We can go do our own thing. Whereas Ryan's, can I go to sleep? Yeah, please do. Put us all out of our misery. But yeah, I was kind of. Overall, like the companions in this one, usually we like when we do Jodie Scripted, we have like 25-minute sections on the companions, and we go through each one and why each of them was
basically
terrible.
Ryan was really shit in
this one. I'm kind of like, Yaz, tick. Graham, tick. Ryan, just go.
I still think there are too many companions, especially with this episode when we then are joined by 4 other guest companions.
Yeah, there's Mary Shelley, Byron, Mr. Bean guy, and that other woman who I don't really know who she was, but she was lurking around. And then Percy Shelley appears. That's what, 4 or 5? Who was that other woman? Do you know what I mean? They should have
confused me because I was like, which one's Mary Shelley? I didn't actually figure out who was Mary Shelley until the end, where it was Mary Shelley and
quite
the Cyberman.
Concerning because in the cold open it establishes who Mary Shelley is.
No, it does. It was just like. When it was like following like 7 people, I was like, which one was it again? Shit,
yeah,
it's not her. You're the Doctor.
Let's go on to the Doctor then. Come on, let's do that.
I just wanted to say I just find a lot of people in this. I just find with the Chibnall era, it's quite bloated oftentimes.
There's just too many people. It's one of those things
too many people and not enough screen time, and that's why I feel like I try and I latch on to the Doctor's screen time more than anything because I don't get enough of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's move on to
Cyberman or Doctor. What do you want to do? We've only got half an hour. Let's go.
I can power through Cyberman. I want to end on the Doctor. About the Cyberman.
It is literally a big finish. There's a big finish where Mary Shelley meets the Cyberman and gets inspired by Frankenstein. There's I've heard Nicholas Briggs say that they came to him and said that we had no idea that existed. But I'm kind of like thinking,
it's too similar.
Well, you know,
it's too similar. Yeah.
Is it
If it was something, if it were another story by
'Cause
someone
there's
else,
a com-
maybe. But
there's a comic.
it's Doctor Who.
There's a comic where the 10th Doctor is with Mary Shelley and she sees a different monster that's patched together of things and it gives her the inspiration to write Frankenstein. And I'm going, I'm with you. You've thought I like Frankenstein. Oh, how about we throw Mary Shelley into this? Let's just see what happened. That's fine. That's a coincidence. A different monster. You've created your own thing. The fact is a Cyberman with Mary Shelley. Because Cyberman not necessarily is a patchwork thing.
Not really. It's a patchwork between two things: human and
Only if you do it in a
metal.
specific way. Well, maybe we could come on to Cyberman here. We'll see. It's only if you do it in a specific way it becomes patchwork.
Yeah.
And the Big Finish one does it by being kind of a charred, disgusting Mondasian Cyberman. And this one does it by being a charred and disgusting, not complete Cyberman. I'm like, that's too much of a coincidence. I refuse to believe
It's way too close.
you did not listen to that, or at least just read the description and go, oh, that's good. We could do that. And it's like going, it's already happened. Because I count Big Finish as canon. Therefore, the 8th Doctor has already met Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley already knows who the Doctor is. She already knows who the Cybermen are. We do not need to do
Which
this.
one was done better? Quickly.
I've not listened to the Big Finish one
Amazing.
yet. I've not listened to. I've heard bits of it, but I've not listened all the way through yet, so I can't provide an opinion. But the one that it's supposed to be from, the Silver Turk, is regarded as one of the best. They did a poll where it was the 5 best 8th Doctor stories on Big Finish across all of them. I think it came second, so it's clearly very good.
Where do so we know that the Cyberman is patched together. Do we actually know where the Cyberman comes from?
No, not really. It's assumed to be somewhere within the Cyber Wars. It's what they would say about every Cyberman.
But it's like dirty and patched together. It's like, how did it get dirty but also being complete? Like,
Well,
how
I
does this
think
work?
that's probably what's then in the finale.
Yeah.
But I want to erase that from my memory. So if somebody's like going, well, actually, this time I'm going to be like, don't care. I'm just going to take this episode as it is. I actually didn't even watch the next time trailer. I turned it off before then. So I'm going, I do not want to see anything from the Timeless Child. Thank you very much. I do not want to see it. So I was just like, I'm just going to take this episode as this episode. But I really like the design of Cyberman. I don't know if you noticed what it was made up of. The legs were the David Tennant Cybermen.
It was very interesting. Yeah, like I looked at it and that kind of in my brain I was watching. I was like, you feel familiar.
Yeah, it was really.
but
I
different.
really like the way they did it. Actually, the legs are the David Tennant Cybermen. The body is the Capaldi era Cyberman. The left arm is a Mondasian Cyberman, and then the head was a completely new.
Yeah, I kept looking at it and I was like, this feels familiar, but also I've
Yeah,
what
but
head am I
at the
looking
time
at?
I was thinking, I think that's one of those Capaldi era ones. When it does a shot, and I was like, no, it's not. And it's a brand new one. And they've actually, I saw an image once. I'm not going to be able to find it because I saw it some deep on Instagram somewhere. And it was the original designer who had made the mock-up of what the full Cyberman head would look like. And I kind of looked and I went, I think that might be my favorite ever Cyberman head. That looks incredible. And it baffles me that they made the one, smashed it in half, and then stuck it on an actor that I struggled to get past this actor because I think he looks like Rainn Wilson. So at the time I was watching The Office, again, one of those million times watching it. And as this time I was talking, I was going, that's Dwight, isn't it? And I've said it to people who've gone, looks nothing like him. But in my mind, I only see Dwight in that Cyberman suit with Nicholas Bruce's voice dubbed over.
My only negative is seeing the Cyberman in the suit. Like, that's my only negative in a way. But it's a weird, like, but it is and it isn't. Like seeing him, it's like I'm seeing this horrific thing, but it's also like it's a bit. I find it a little bit distracting for a moment. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I'm looking at. I'm like, actor, who are you? I'm trying to recognize you, but I can't for the life of me. But I don't know where I'm going with this. But it's just like
I don't know. Don't quite know what you're saying there. But no, I really like this Cyberman.
But I really
like the design. Like I said, it is one of my favorite uses of the Cybermen because it's one of those stories that yes, it's on Big Finish. But let's just ignore that for a moment. Ooh, the first time I've ever said ignore Big Finish. I feel like I've just killed a part of myself there. But it's one of those things. It's not a kind of story. If I were writing a story, a Cyberman is not the monster I would go to. I wouldn't think it would fit the tone because Cyberman to me is high sci-fi. So if I'm doing like scary, spooky ghost story, you think of something ethereal, something like that. I wouldn't think chunky Cyberman marching through. That's what I think of. But the way it's done, I'm really with you. You've pointed out the blue lights were unnecessary. I like the one on his chest. I don't like the ones on his back. They're the ones that I'm like, don't need you.
I said, yeah, like with the blue lights. Right, right. I figured out my point. I like seeing the Cyberman underneath. It's very scary. Just took me a second to get used to because I'm so used because it's like like actor under there, because I feel like it reminds me that there's an actor in there in a way, whereas with the Cybermen, you know there's a human in there, but not an actor, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But I really did like seeing it underneath. That was my point.
I think it looks better than Danny Pink when he takes
way
the
better.
thing off, and that just looks like that's Samuel Anderson in a suit. This to me, because you only ever see one half of his face, and you can't even see like into the mask, see the other half. It just really feels like it's half a face.
Yeah.
Part of his might not even be his full head in there,
Ugh.
kind of thing.
That's quite.
And I kind of like,
Yeah.
it was one of those times I look at Cybermen, because that is the point of Cybermen. I love Cybermen, I really do, but I think they are the easiest monster to get wrong.
And they have been done wrong.
And they're done awfully in the next episode. They're like, we want to be just robots. It's good. That's not the point of Cybermen. That's not what you are. But it's like, this is one of our favorite uses, because to get them right at its core, it needs to be body horror. We've had this conversation in our Nightmare in Silver episode. But I think, don't know if we've done Cybermen. It must be that one. But it's like, you have to do that, which is why I still will say forever that the best version of Cybermen we have ever seen or heard is World Enough in Time. Doing the pain. That is to this day. I'm like,
They're scary.
You cannot top that, because that is you saying, this is a human in this thing, and he's in agony. But you remove that agony, oh, okay. But you know, it's that
They're
kind
still
of thing.
feeling it. Like their body is still. That's the interesting thing. Although you suppress their emotions, their body still like it would still produce the chemicals, and it's still like they are still like horrifically.
Yeah. I actually,
like turn off that inhibitor, they realize they're constantly feeling pain.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because another Big Finish mention, nothing to do with Cyberman, but I was just listening to a War Master box set, and there was a bit when he was torturing somebody and absolutely delighting in it. It's amazing because he's glorious and all this kind of thing. And he said, I once knew a torturer who removed the ability to feel pain. And the person being tortured was like, what's the point of that? He's going, so you can see exactly which parts are being lopped off you. And I just thought, I heard that. I thought that's genius. Like, as a concept, you don't feel pain, so you can see your leg being removed. You can see your penis being removed. And
Don't
I just
mention my willy.
And I just thought, like, that is such an amazing concept. And you've just said that, like, about the Cybermen. It's right. You're still seeing what's wrong with you. You look down, you see you're not human anymore, but you don't feel the emotion. You can't process that you're not human, because you think, I'm a Cyberman. This is what Cybermen look like. This isn't what I look like. And that kind of thing. That's what David Tennant does in the episode when he makes them lose that bit. So they'll see themselves as Cybermen, and they all freak out and their heads explode for no apparent reason. But it's like that.
It's fucking terrifying.
It's that kind of thing. It's like, this is why Cybermen are amazing. Do things like this. Show that it is a person in there. And it's kind of like this thing. What I also really, really like is when Mary's trying to reach out to him and say, you were a person once. Who is that person? He goes, oh, my name was a shad. And you think he's going to be like really nice. And he goes, I slaughtered my children because they joined the resistance. And I really like that this, because we always go through Cybermen, they're tragic. These were people before. They don't want to be Cybermen. This is so sad. This is a guy who was awful before he became a Cyberman. He became a Cyberman, made him worse. And it's just like, I like that as a concept as well.
Like human beings, you can have people forced into being a Cyberman. They've become it, and they're like, they don't want to be that anymore. And they've got like some goodness there. Like Danny Pink, for example.
Bill.
We have our, I was about to say we have our faults with Danny Pink, not with Bill, but we're like, they're like, you have that. You have them being good before fighting what they become. But then you've got someone like this who is just pure, like, is a dick beforehand, becomes more of a dick.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting idea, that, but you still have that body horror, because it is still fucking horrifying. Like, no, you see, it's the idea that you wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy kind of thing. It's like, you're a terrible person. You're worse now, and I hate you. But I'm so sorry that this has happened, because hell, what if you got help instead of being turned into a Cyberman? And it's very scary. And like like it did take me a second to get past like seeing the person in the suit kind of thing. But once I got past that, like it took me like a second. Once I got past that and I like saw the makeup, and I was like, this is really good. You could kind of notice on the hand, it felt a bit, it looked like bloated in a way. I noticed the hand.
It looked like when you do some sort of drama and you have a dead body.
Yeah.
And you make the body bloated. And
it looked a little bit.
It looks like that.
I was worried to say that, because what if the actor's like, that was just my hand?
How dare you? But it had like really discoloured nails as well.
The nails were very interesting.
Really gross. And it was kind of just like, he had the kind of a big kind of slice across his hand.
Ooh, yeah. But it wouldn't heal, because
and he had cuts on his face as well. And it was like, it is very much being like, this is my hand. but it's dead. It's a dead person's hand, but it is my
Oh,
hand, and
God, I
it's
hate
my hand, and it's moving, but it's
There's
dead.
no blood circulation, so
Yeah.
there's no healing. Like there'd be a cut there, it won't bleed,
No,
but it still moves.
but it is a hand. It's
It's-
doing
it's-
the things
It's
hand do.
genuinely terrifying. Like as you said, like the bits and bobs it's pieced together in, like brilliant. Seeing that, and that's a brilliant design. But then the human side is very scary. Like having that, seeing that. The only thing though, the eyes, you couldn't. They were different. I was like, they look alive. Like you can't make the eyes look dead because it's like.
Because you'd kind of need it just to be looking forward all the time, I guess.
Yeah,
You?
no, but
You won't be
even though
able to have
it's
it look around.
it's kind of the gloss. It's like with a dead person, your eyes wouldn't water, so they would be dry. But like, long
It's quite
story,
hard to do.
it's
isn't it?
basically you cannot do that. Really.
Well, you could. You'd have to get a VFX person to go in post and put like a matte effect over the eyes in every single shot.
and that's a lot
and
of
I think
effort. And you
amount of
don't need it.
times-
You don't need
The
it.
amount of times that I'd take, you'd go, "Oh, is this really worth
No.
it?" I'm just matting your eyes all the time.
You really don't need it. But that's like the only thing that can't look dead. But it looks brilliant, and the way it speaks, and the way, like I say, it because it's not human anymore.
No,
like
it
not,
isn't it.
and
It's a Cyberman.
the-
He
and-
goes, "My name's a Shad," and people refer to him as a Shad, but
a
it's
Shad's long
it's
dead.
just a Cyberman. A Shad is dead. Yeah.
Like even when we see like Danny Pink and Bill again, like they're still fighting that, but they're like you know it's like they're still in there to a point. A Shad's long dead. Shad's not there at all. It's a very terrifying design and very well done. Like the lights on it, as you said,
They don't bother me, but they're unnecessary. I think.
The lights on the Cybermen, it is unnecessary because it makes it a bit too futuristic. But I get they've got to progress, so it makes sense. I'm just not.
And
a
also,
fan.
I kind of think just some of this, a lot of shot wise, there's a couple of shots where it's up a dark corridor, and I think they kind of just kind of make you see where the Cyberman is a bit more. I
it's
think it's just kind of a design choice.
it's
for
a
that
weird
reason.
reference. It's kind of like how in the Spider-Man games they changed his logo from black to white so you could see him at nighttime. It's
Yeah,
probably for
it's
that
just
reason.
things like that. It's not a in-universe thing. It's purely for the people making it. It's kinda like,
Yes.
well, we need to do a shot of him. I can't see anything. Stick a light on him. Oh, I can see him now.
It helps,
It's just
yeah.
that kind of thing.
But what I did like is how he started off without the lights, and then when he charged up, he got the lights. That was a nice kind of.
yeah.
It made the lights rather than tacked on lights, fancy, pretty colors. It made the lights feel like, oh, so this is a way to kind of demonstrate the power
Cyberman is
system.
coming. Yeah, yeah.
It made it kind of a real in-world thing rather than just a design choice, which is nice. I always like that. It's like design choices in things, they have to be reminiscent of something. Like it has to be there for a reason. It can't just be, looks good, you know? And it's just nice that. And then you kind of had the gun not work, so the Cyberman had to do some more kind of hands-on stuff. And the thing that I really liked from the Cyberman were the two murders it committed. You had just like, you have that kind of strangulation one, the first one, which is like quite graphic, but the
Yeah.
second one where you don't see it and it is clearly just
like
him breaking the neck
Yeah.
with one hand. Brilliant killing, like really good. It's scary. Couldn't use any of the electric stun thing. It's not a stun, electric killing thing.
Yeah. The delete thing.
Yeah, but had to fully murder someone and pick up the baby. Fucking scary. Because I'm like, Doctor, you're not going to kill a baby, Doctor Who. You're not, but what the hell? But then he's like, he's going to make the baby one of them. And it's like, so what are you going to do? You're going to make the baby just become a Cyberman? Or do you wait till it grows?
Oh, I suppose you'd just like kind of the
It's terrifying.
it'd be a bit more like the Cybersmen, where they're just mashed up people thrown into a suit, whereas other Cybermen are people in suits, that kind of thing. And I think they'd probably just get the baby, mash it up, take the brain, take a bit of the stem cells, and throw that into a suit. There you go.
Actually,
chuck the
no, but
rest-
I'm genuinely
chuck
quite
the rest
repulsed.
all
I genuinely
away.
hate that. That is terrifying. So it's like the reason I find the Cyberman works so well. A reason why I'm not a huge fan is like the Siberian thing, because it's like
That's where it loses me, but I'll come on to that. In
But
a
the
moment.
Cyberman,
The
and how it's
Cyberman-
designed and how it acts, brilliant.
The Cyberman itself, that's why I'm saying it is honestly one of my favourite, even though it's like in the
and the way it builds up as well. Boom, 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 boom. boom.
Yeah,
then
I
it's
really
in the
like-
room.
I
You're
really
like, oh
like that.
shit!
phasing in, because we know it's going to be Cybermen hindsight, 'cause we know what the story's about, but I think we knew it at the time that we knew there was going to be Cyberman in this episode. But if you didn't know any of that knowledge and you see that thing phasing in and out above the lake, you can't like, what the hell is that?
Very scary above the lake.
It is actually really creepy, because they could have done a shot down on the lake and you see it a bit closer, but just seeing it from their perspective, like with
We
really
never
high
leave the
up,
house.
it was just really like,
Mm.
what the hell is that down there? And then when you see it phase into the house, first time it flashes, you kind of go, what the hell was that? Second time you see, you go, hold on, that looks a bit like a Cyberman. And then when it's with you, you go, oh my God. And then I do quite like that, as much as we say we don't like Sega Nakano's music, I do quite like the music that comes in there. It's just like,
it's good. Part of me would have liked the
yeah, because to me that is like, it's weird. Like Daleks, you can give me another Dalek theme and I'm fine. Cybermen, I seem to be the one where I need that theme.
It's perfect.
Like any time in Jodie Whittaker, I need that theme. Even again, Big Finish. Every time they go, it's a Cyberman.
I think this is the most you've ever mentioned Big
Finish. Big Finish, maybe, because I listened to quite a lot of Cyberman stories. But there's like every time there's a Cyberman, they go, it's a Cyberman. And I go, no, gimme, because to me that is the sound of the Cyberman. It's just the sheer dread. Like when you get in the Capaldi episode, when it's like the doctor's going, this seems familiar. Doors close and it forms the face of Cyberman. The music just kicks in at the moment, and you go, oh damn, I know what's happening now. That's what it kind of is to me more than any other monster. Because we know what the Dalek theme is, but it's kind of like it needs a lot of build up. Whereas the Cyberman theme, you can just do that.
You can throw it out.
It
has a motif in it, and therefore you can use it for those little moments. Like hell, you wouldn't have needed it for the whole episode.
I just want it just for that bit.
First appearance.
When he was going towards the door, it's the lone Cyberman. Wink, wink. Closes the door. It's just only need it there. But I do still quite like the music that they use.
Oh, it's good. Yes.
Anyway, I think like just on a shot point before we come to the Siberian, there's a bit, I don't know if you know the bit I mean, where he's going into, I can't think who's in the room. There's a bit where the Cyberman kind of goes into a room, and it's shot from the side where you just see Cyberman, so you don't see the human face. Just kind of as the head turns, the way it's lit, and it's really hard to say where it is specifically, but I know I can see it in my mind.
Does the turning make
kind of a darky browny kind of thing, and it's just like you just see the Cyberman head, and it's kind of just the way the head turns, not like usual Cybermen. It's kind of a bit more, because usually Cybermen it's kind of just left-right articulation, isn't it? This one kind of more of like a circle kind of thing. It kind of just does that, and it's just the way he does it, and it's just the way you just see Cyberman really darkly lit, like Doctor Who has never done before. It's kind of just like, ugh. Oh, that's so horrible. That's proper creepy.
The way this Cyberman works is it very much felt like it is an unfinished Cyberman. So you get more elements of humanity there in the way it moves, in the way it speaks, which play more into the body horror side. You're not all the way there. So like that moment there, you get a lot of elements which are very much like, it's closer to Uncanny Valley than Cybermen could ever be, because you're getting closer to... It's like you'll find, it's like Cyberman is here, human is here. Usually with Cybermen, we're all the way on the left side with Cybermen, but we're close, but we've got enough humanity to add more horror to it. It's very good and very creepy.
Yeah.
And the sound design for it was great. And as you said, the lighting, the whole episode was lit very, very well. The whole vibe is very, very good in this.
Yeah, I'll do that now, because I feel like we've not really mentioned it. I do really love the vibe this episode.
I love how they kept mentioning vibe, and then you kept mentioning vibe.
Like a vibe. Everyone's got a vibe. But I thought like, because it's funny that I feel like what we've done a lot on all these podcasts recently have gone, it's great because it's scary. It's great because it's creepy. I feel like we've done that a lot recently.
But why is it creepy?
But it's kind of like, this is one of those times when I'm doing it again. I'm writing a plus point where I've gone plus creepy, which I did with Heaven Sent. I did it with the Doctor's Wife. I did it with Silence of the Library. I did it with The Empty Child.
Doctor Who needs to be creepy.
I did it with the Scarecrows in Human Nature. I did it with the Silence in Impossible Planet. I didn't do it with so the last time I said an episode wasn't creepy was when we did the Magician's Apprentice. That was the last time. So every single we've done since then, I've gone, it's creepy, it's creepy, it's creepy, it's creepy. Sound a bit like a broken record. But it's like, I'm going to say it again, it's great because it's creepy. And I just kind of think it gives you I think that what creepy does, the reason why I see that as a positive is because it's the sense of dread and not knowing what's going on. I think because you are in an episode where you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, it gets you more invested and you're more like, how are they going to get out of this situation? What is the situation? How are we going to get out of it? And I'm just kind of, it really sells me on an episode and it gets me invested. So that's why I just see that as a positive every time. And then in that, you've got the Doctor who's immediately, she's like, there is something wrong. And she's like, I don't know what it is. And I like the way that she knows there's a wrong vibe and she wants to solve that vibe and work out what's going on. All obviously the room changing around helps that. But I kind of like that her biggest focus here is just being what Time Lords are supposed to be in she's preserving time. And I really like the way she's like going, this isn't right. Why? Because this should be right in a book.
And a large part of it for me comes from the fact the Doctor is very much on point in this. And you can have a creepy element. You can have it be slightly creepy. And it is a creepy house. It's a brilliant set. It's very well lit. But the creepiness comes from like the handle, ghosts, that kind of thing. But where does the creepiness come from? For me, more than anything, it's the Doctor being like, something's not right here. What's going on? And if the Doctor, it's the idea that the Doctor is it's your friend, it's someone you trust, you know. We know if they think something's safe, you're fine. If they think something is something to be worried about, you should be quite fucking worried if they're even a little bit worried. So it's the idea that because Jodie's Doctor is, you're like, what's wrong? Tell me. And she's like, I don't know. Tell me what's wrong. It's that kind of thing. It's a bit scary. And I really like that. And that just kind of leads on to just Jodie being excellent. Fucking hell. Jodie in this is 10 out of 10 Jodie.
It really is, actually. I'm really with you. And I kind of like, even like, I just said the bit when they're dancing. I like that they're trying to put in their best efforts, but the Doctor's just got her hands behind her back. She don't care. She's like, whatever, let's just do that. Let's do that. And then she gets to the end and goes, right, enough of this. When are we going to write a book? And I kind of like, even though it's just from the start, she's just like, oh, whatever. We should be writing a book. I don't care about this. And I like that. I like almost everything she does all the way through. I don't think I have a single, maybe my only negative would be when she puts the hat on and starts prattling around a little bit. That's the only negative. But even then, I'm like, I still quite like that. I'm just trying to find something I don't like. But all the way through.
It's the only kind of, it's like everything's a 10. That's like a 7.
And even then, it's got a bit like, because I find that bit in the room with the skeleton really, really creepy there. And then when they're like going, the figure above the lake, that's when I'm like going, what are we getting into here? That's where I'm like, I'm really with you. So it just feels a bit like, because it's such a creepy scene, her just being like, I've got a hat. It just feels a little bit like, lost me slightly, Jodie. Can we get back to it?
We're in a very creepy vibe. It's a bit. You could have had this at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, it's just a bit where she can't. Can we lose the hat? Then she takes it off. She goes, "Remind me to get that later." And I go, "Okay, thank you." And then we just work from there. It just kind of feels a little bit like that. But I think, as we said earlier, I realised we never mentioned the Siberian, but it doesn't matter. It's just irrelevant, and I don't like it.
The Siberian, it's all like, I don't really like it.
Like Cybermen rebuild them. They convert humans. Now there's this weird thing that goes inside your body, and we're going, I don't care.
It's like the Matrix. It's like the Matrix and Transformers, but worse.
Whatever that
only
means.
one person in the audience will get.
Yeah. 2 moments, I think, that were my. I know what, 3 moments. Just thought of another one. Very rare. I've got 3 Jodie moments that stand out to me. First one, obvious one. First, Cyberman first appears. And the companions are like going, we'll follow. They'll be quite jovial. She's like, no, you will not follow. Because she's basically saying, because the last time somebody followed me, they ended up as a Cyberman. So stay where you are. And she says, like, I will not lose anybody else to the Cybermen. And I like that. Because even though it can go over your head at the time, they have said, no, that is about Bill. We were writing about Bill.
Did go over my head a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, listen out for the Bill reference. And you got to the end and you were like, I did not hear Bill references.
Because I was expecting to go Bill. And
but they don't actually say Bill, but that is who they're talking about. So I really liked that. Because I like that this is Jodie just being like, because it is like we always say about the fam, it's all quite happy and jolly. And she's here, she's kind of like, right, shut up, fam, because I'm dealing with something. Shut up, fam, because I'm dealing with something here. And I like that she's like, will not follow me. Like, yeah, we always have this fun. Let's go on adventures, but do not follow me right now.
It's like, it's not one of these usual, maybe don't follow me. You're not going to follow me because you'll die.
Follow me. The second one I like is, of course, the big major moment where they're in the basement. And she's like, and they're all saying that. So Ryan's just like going, well, it's only one person. Think about all the millions that will die.
Again, Ryan being a dick. Why the hell does the Doctor keep Ryan around if he's got that mentality?
And it's just like...
That's so against what the Doctor is.
But it's like the Doctor will do things like that in time. There will be times where she goes, there's only one person, but we can still find them. We can still find a way to save them. But she will contemplate that question. But here it's that doing that Time Lord thing, that time is precious. We cannot disrupt this, so we have to do this. There's when she says the thing about, sometimes this team structure isn't so flat and it's actually a mountain and I'm in the stratosphere alone. And I kind of like that because this Doctor is very much, they do say at some point that this is a flat team structure. This Doctor, this TARDIS team feels like it's just a level. It's just like everybody's there. Sometimes you see the Doctor, sometimes you don't. This was kind of reminding you that The Doctor is a character far above everybody else that we will never be able to contemplate.
That's exactly.
And it's just like, I'm in the stratosphere above you.
It's brilliant because, you know, I said it. I think I said it probably last week.
I think you did say it last
I
week.
love the idea that the Doctor is like the Doctor. No matter what we do, we cannot fully understand what they've been through. We cannot walk a mile in the Doctor's shoes. It is physically impossible.
So the companions thinking, oh yeah, we're all here. It's like, no, you have no idea who I am. And it kind of like, because the Doctor is, it's why they stopped using the word companions. They call them friends of the Doctor now. You will never see the BBC ever use the word companions now. They've dropped it. Whereas back in the day, it used to be assistants, then that was deemed a bit sexist. So they became companion. Now they say we will not say companion. But I will always say companion because to me, the Doctor is an authority above everybody else. In every single room they are ever in, they are above everybody else. They kind of say, well, we don't want that authority figure anymore. It's like, yeah, but to me, that's what the Doctor is. The Doctor should be that. And here it's
you see Capaldi's Doctor walk into a room and the first thing
like,
he
right,
does
I'm
is
in
take
charge
control.
now. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's kind of just, that's what the Doctor should be to me. And it's kind of just like, here, this was Jodie Whittaker going, right, now listen to me now, shut up. I'm in charge. And I really liked that. It was my kind of, probably, you know, we would say, what is the Doctor's defining moment? For me, I'd probably say, actually, that's Whittaker's.
For Whittaker, yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
It's brilliant and
moment,
amazing, and it's so doctory. And
it's the time when the Doctor,
and to
appears.
me, what I love about that is it shows to me, it's like, oh yeah, Jodie's a great actor. Jodie can do this. You just need good writing.
Yeah, if she'd been doing that all the way through.
Fucking hell. She would have been ace.
Yeah, and my other thing that I really liked is at the end when she decides, well, I cannot win because if I keep the Cyberium, he's going to destroy this planet. So I've got to give him the Cyberium. I'll deal with the effects afterwards. I really liked the line where she just says, step 1, I had to save Shelley. Step 2, I had to solve the mess I made in step 1. And I just kind of really liked
so
that.
Doctor,
I really liked that line. She's like, going, my priority is I needed to save Shelley. That was happening either way. That was my step 1. That was my only focus in this situation. Step 2, I'll handle that later. So she's like, well, let's go to the future and let's fight the things I fight about the timeless child. I don't want to see that. But just here, I'm with you. Anything else to say? We've got 3 minutes before somebody else will take this room.
I have one other Jodie moment I really liked, and that's when the Jodie is sitting kind of at the foot of the bed. Cyberman's walking around like, where is things? And then Jodie's just like, God, you're making an awful mess there.
That whole confrontation
is brilliant. I love it. Yeah,
because I kind of forgot to say
it reminded me. It felt like cheeky Doctor, but it was cheeky Doctor trying to figure things out, Doctor, but also authority
an
Doctor.
Extremely angry Doctor.
Yeah, it was great.
Extremely angry because I liked that she was being dismissive. She was all just like going, "Oh, you don't look very good. Oh, your gun doesn't work." Oops, she was trying to be like, "Oh, you're a bit pathetic." But I also could see that there was a confidence there. It's like, I can be like this with you because I'm not actually just being like, I'm not reducing this threat down to nothing. I'm taking the piss out of you because you are pathetic.
Yeah.
And you have taken Bill from me. You have taken so many things from me. And you're not going to do that again because you're a piece of shit and I hate you. And I liked that because I was just like, I like the way you're performing that. You're confident and you're funny. But there's actually underneath that, the way she was, it was like she was saying every line with gritted teeth.
Yes.
So she was saying funny things, but all of it just felt angry.
It was the layer. It was the layers to the acting there, and the performance and the character. And I just want to praise kind of Jodie in this episode and just kind of her acting. And it's times like this where I just wish it's
times like these.
For fuck's sake, it's times like this. We don't have time for this. It's times like this. I just wish we got like more of that. Because it's not like
3 series of that Doctor. I am with you.
This isn't like I'm sitting here thinking, God, I wish we'd have had Jodie be like this. Imagine. It's very much be going like, we had this. We had it. Just give me more of that. It's not difficult. Come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah. So I don't see the next person, so I'm just going to do a little final thoughts and wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'd say I've just spotted my final note, which was I do love the ghost stuff all the way through. I think it's really well done. Like I said, the shots are really well done. I'm impressed with this episode. I really love the tone. However, when you get to the end, you kind of go, well, why were there ghosts? And the episode actually can't explain it to you.
Yeah. Or maybe there were. It's one of those ones.
That kind of just like going, well, nobody else saw ghosts. It's like, maybe it was just you, Graham. And it's like, yeah, but we saw it too. So it was a thing. If it was Graham going around the episode the whole time going, I've just seen a ghost, but we never see it. We never see it. Maybe that's the when you can go, nah, there were nothing. You can do that then. But because we have seen them, did see that weird maid kind of thing, that little girl. There is something that's explained to me what that was, and they just kind of go, "We'll never know." And it's like, yeah, we need to.
Yeah,
that's the only time I've kind of this episode has lost me. But all the way through, generally, we've been really despite you saying I've got thoughts, which always means,
fair point, actually.
Always means whenever you go, I've got thoughts, that means you're going to be like, I'm going to shit all over this episode. But we've been positive all the way through.
But this is the thing. It's like,
it's just only when Ryan opens his fucking mouth.
No, this is the thing. When we talk like an episode like this through, I'm talking through the bits bits I love. No, I'll just start. Bits I don't like. The amount of people, it's a bit bloated.
Too many people.
I don't like the amount of companions.
Yeah.
The family. It just, I don't like that, and I feel like it takes away from what I loved about this episode, and that being the Cyberman and the Doctor and Mary Shelley and that thing. That and the house, beautiful, and that's what's scary, and that's what was great to watch, and that's what I loved, and it was brilliant when I got that. But those other bits felt like I took away from what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
So those are like, that's like my thoughts. So I can't give it like a 10 out of 10 because it's like, if it was just this, I probably could actually, but it's like you're giving me like 3 scenes I'm loving, adoring, then you're filling it with like 1 scene which is then another scene which I hate. So it's like you got 5 scenes, 3 are perfect, but by having these things to take it away, it loses me a bit. That's where my thoughts are with this. So hell, if I were to give it a rating out of 10,
I was about to say, what would you give it as a rating?
Oh, what did I give Village of the Angels?
You get like a 9 or something. It's quite high.
Probably
8 or 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. With this 8, my initial thought was 7, so I'm going to go to 8 because that's usually what it is for me. Like if I think it's a 7, it's probably an 8 in my ratings.
I'm going a point, which I don't usually do, but I'm going to go 8.5.
Oh,
the reason I'm doing that is because I'm thinking the Siberium, and once kind of I think Percy Shelley comes into it, it starts to bore me a little bit. There are nice moments after that, like the bit in the basement is nice. The bit where she says the thing about step 1 is nice. I do like those, but generally the Siberium, the Ghost episode, love you. The Cyberman episode, love you. The Siberium episode, do not care.
Act 3 is a bit.
And so the fact they were all in one, it's going love, I do not care. Sure, you're boring me, basically.
Don't hate it.
So that drops
but
me down a point. So that'd take me down to 9. Thinking, but you've still got half a point to go, Aidan. Whatever is that for, Ryan? It's Ryan. Because it's like, I am with Yaz and Graham 100%. I really like them both. I was about to say love, I don't love. But I really like them both here. Second Ryan talks, I'm just going, shut up. You just lose me.
And it's not like we don't just have an irrational annoyance. It's like
there are reasons.
He actively brings the mood down and he starts fights for no reason.
He just does not, like I said, he is surplus. There's a woman there. We'll be fine with it. He's just surplus to requirements.
Yes.
And we do not need him. So that's that. I can see with a person wanting to come in. Next week, we're going to be doing The Girl in the Fireplace. So we'll see you then.
Yes, same bad. Thank you very much for listening.
Until then.
Watching. We'll be faster next time.
We've got to clear off because I can see the person that's about to come into the next room. So goodbye. See you next week.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Go.